if you're trying to do something that the people around you have never done, they're inherently not going to believe in you. It's not necessarily a malicious thing, but people are going to place the expectations of what they've been able to accomplish onto you. So in this channel, I'm talking a lot about how I'm trying to escape the 9 to 5. I'm trying to, make content work. I'm trying to start a business. I'm doing a lot of things that nobody around me has really ever done. I was talking to my parents today, and I'm about to finish this internship and I'm coming back for one more year of school. And I was telling them about, my business and how I've gotten my first client and how I really want to go hard on the business and try to see if I can scale it. And they're like, yeah, that's cool if you do that on the side. That's awesome if that works out, but you're gonna have to start sending out applications for a full-time job over these next couple months. And in the back of my head, I'm like, they just don't get it. Like, they don't understand that that's not in the cards for me. I'm not going to do that. No matter what happens, I'm going to go all in on this business. I'm going to go all in on content. If it works, it works. I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure it works. But if it doesn't work on the schedule that I expect it to, if it takes longer than I think it's going to take, then I'm going to figure something else out. But I'm not doing the 9 to 5 shit, dude. Like, I've had enough experience with it at this point that I know that it is not something that I can do for 40 years. I just find it so soul crushing, and I find, really it's almost as if you're surrendering if you go into a 9 to 5 without some sort of plan in mind to exit it. If you go into there as into a 9 to 5 with that as your permanent goal, like you're just gonna climb the corporate ladder, dude, like the world doesn't work like that anymore. You're going to get left behind, you're going to get exploited. It's just not a good deal anymore. But, my parents come from an older generation. It's not necessarily their fault. Back when they were young, the social contract was still intact. It still made sense to get a normal career, to get a stable job, to work a 9 to 5, because the incentives were aligned with that. And because if they, if they followed that path that was set out for them, they could reasonably expect to succeed. Even if they put in just a moderate amount of effort, you could reasonably expect to succeed back when they were my age. But things are different, dude. And they understand that things are different, but I don't think, unless you're on the ground right now, you're a young person, you're finishing school, you're starting to try to get a job, you're starting to try to get on your feet. If you're not really on the ground experiencing it, people just don't really get what it's like. They don't understand. They don't understand how things are and how much has changed in the last couple of years. And so in their mind, they still think I'm going to follow the same path that they did. They still think that I'm going to get a job and that I'm going to work it for 40 years. I'm going to gradually rise through the ranks, and eventually I will, I'll save enough money in my 401k to retire. But that's just not the plans that I have, dude. I would rather be materially unsuccessful or significantly less successful materially, but work for myself and have myself be in control of how far I go. When you work for a company, when you work for a 9 to 5, you can't get rich that way, and you can't work on things that you enjoy. Your success is bounded. When you're working for yourself, your success is unbounded. Your success is only constrained by what it is that you're willing to do and your own abilities. Secondly, when you're working for yourself, you're doing things for yourself. The effort that you put in is going to have a proportionate response in what you get back out. You could put in 10x effort to your job and you're not going to get 10x output. That's something I've talked about in my previous videos. But that's the thing is, I don't think anybody around me necessarily, whether it's my family or my close friends, believes that I really can do this. And so that's not something where I'm like, woe is me, I'm so sad nobody believes in me. It doesn't matter to me, because for me, I know that I'm going to do everything in my power to succeed. I'm going to put in so much work, because this shit it's like life or death for me. The idea of being stuck working a 9 to 5, sitting through traffic every morning, clocking in and clocking out, and having my future and my success entirely dependent on someone other than myself, that's my own idea of sort of like a soft, quiet, early death. That's my idea of really being defeated. and I just refuse to accept it. And so it doesn't matter to me if other people don't believe in me. It doesn't, because it's not necessarily malicious. They only know what they've done, and they only know what the people around them have done. And nobody in my family has really started a business except for my uncle. And his business has not been super materially successful. And so I understand that my parents are probably like, hey, you know, if he starts a business, then he's probably going to struggle a little bit, and he's not going to have the same level of economic success. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not. With where I intend to go, obviously I want to succeed a great deal with my business ventures and things like that. But I understand where they're coming from, but I'm not going to let the restrictions they have in their mind be imposed onto me. I have my goals, I have what I'm aiming towards, and the only person who's going to constrain what I can and cannot do is going to be myself. Whatever other people think is or isn't possible for me doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, I'm the one who decides what is and isn't possible for me. It's the same thing with a lot of my friends, where really a lot of them are already starting their jobs, they're starting to get into their careers, so to speak, and it's almost the sort of thing where I can tell I can tell that they're like, oh, it's cool that you're working on your business. It's cool that you're posting content or whatever. But I don't think any of them really expect me to push this as far as I intend to push it. Like, maybe they think I'll do this for a couple months and stop. Maybe they think that, it'll just be like a side thing, or, maybe they just don't expect me to succeed. I don't really get the impression from any of them that they understand how dialed in I am on this and how serious I am about making this work, because really none of them understand the mental conversations I've had with myself of like, I just refuse to be subjected to 40 years of building somebody else's dream. I'd rather try and fail and be destitute, but have all of my time and all of my energy be aligned towards accomplishing the goals that I set for myself and where I want my life to go. So really, with all that said, I don't think there's anybody around me that really shares my vision and believes in what I'm trying to do and believes I can make it work. That doesn't matter to me, because I have belief in myself. I have belief that where I'm going to take this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put in so much effort for such a sustained period of time that it would be unreasonable for me not to succeed. And so, maybe some people will change their mind, or they'll flip the script and they'll be like, oh yeah, dude, I know you could always do it. And when they do that, that's okay. Like, that's what people do. I'm not going to hold any resentment against people. But right now, it really just feels like it's me against everything else. It's me against me. It's me against, it's me against the clock as well, because I need to make this work in a somewhat reasonable time frame. Otherwise, just because of pure economic incentives, I will have to get a job. It's not going to be a 9-to-5 job, I can tell you that. If I have to get a job, I'll do a part-time job so I can maximize the amount of time that I'm spending building my brand, building my business, and working on things that have a very high vertical, and working on things where the potential for success is unbounded, or is at least constrained by me and not constrained by someone else or some company. But this is the sort of thing where if you're trying to do something like I'm doing that nobody around you's ever done before, they're going to impose the constraints of what they think isn't possible based on their individual experiences onto you. And you can't believe those constraints. You can't allow them to place those restrictions on you. You're the only person that needs to decide whether or not you succeed and what isn't possible for you. For me, I've made up my mind. I know what I'm going to do. I know I'm going to put in the work, and it doesn't matter whether or not people believe that I'm going to get there, because I'm aligned with this goal. I'm going to do everything I can to accomplish it, and I know that if I give something 100% effort for a long period of time, nothing can stop me from accomplishing it. I truly believe that. And so I just want to say, if you guys are in the same situation as me, if you're trying to make something happen and people around you just don't believe it, or they don't think you're serious, don't let that affect you, dude. Just keep going, keep dialing in on what you're working on, and I promise you, you're gonna start reaping the rewards of it. I'm already beginning to see it in my experience. I've been posting content on my other channel for a little over a month now, and it's starting to get some attention. I'm starting to see, some people that are interested in what I'm doing, and that's awesome. And it took a long time, honestly. I posted a lot of videos that got very little attention, but I just kept going at it. I kept, it's like an exponential, right? I was at the far left side of the exponential where nothing's happening, but I just kept hammering and hammering and hammering on it, and finally it's starting to pick up a little. But I still have a long way to go, but I'm just gonna keep working at it, dude. And you know, let this serve as inspiration for the people around me. Like when I make this happen, when I make this work, if they want to do something similar, I want to be able to have what I've done serve as an example of like, yeah, this shit's possible. Like, don't let other people tell you it's not possible. It's possible. But yeah, if you guys made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I hope you succeed in whatever you're doing. I imagine you're probably on a similar path to me if you watched this video all the way through up to this point. But I just want to go ahead and say, I do have a math tutoring business. That's one of the ventures that I'm doing right now. So if you or someone you know needs help in math, whether it's high school math, ACT or SAT prep, or university level math, go to my website, get a free consultation. Let me help you out, and let's get to work. Let me figure out how I can help you and help you reach the goals that you have mathematically. So go to www.kuehrtutoring.com. That's KUEHR tutoring.com. Get a free consultation. Let me help you out, and let's get to work. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Have a good one.